When I was young, my parents often brought me to Changi village on the weekends. My father would always describe this place as his second home. He would share interesting stories of his past with me.
Initially, when I wrote this story, I just had one motivation, and that is to honor this place and my father. Because when I was younger, my dad always bring me to Changi village. Apart from that, when I was younger, I remembered Changi to be such a crowded place, and on weekends it was packed with people on the beach. But like only now, when you go back and see, right, Changi is becoming less and less like crowded, and even youngsters like us don't go to Changi like as often already. So really wanted to dive into Changi and learn more about Changi so that I can bring it forward to the younger generations and let them appreciate Changi.
I chose this production for several reasons. Honestly, the main one is because I'm friends with the director, that being the first and foremost. Secondly, I like Changi village. I have been going to Changi village probably since I was like a teenager. So I'm quite familiar with the place, and I didn't know that Changi village had such a rich history. And I guess I just wanted to learn more about it myself.
When Semin was kind of presenting her story, it was one of the few stories that I actually could see a clear vision to and could relate to her. And this was perfect. This was a very personal documentary about a personal memory, and it was great.
I heard about the story. It just gave me a vintage and then like a film photography style. So I want to like be involved in. So I just like approached Sumin. I want to be the production designer.
So I think my biggest concern, like it is the fear of not being able to work with the group, but in the end it turned out more than okay. It turned out way better than I expected because everyone's pretty chill.
For myself and my management team, it wasn't as easy in the beginning because we didn't have quite a smooth communication. We didn't have good communication until the director called me, and I think that honestly pushed me and drive me forward to want to push ahead and go ahead and like push forth orders to try and help her however I can. But then at the end of the day, we all realized that we're just one entire unit and everybody's communication eventually fell into place. I don't know what I was worried about in the first place. Yeah.
Unfortunately, the people of Changi were faced with great danger in the year 1970 as the neighborhood witnessed its first big fire.
During production, the main concern would be looking for archives and retrieving the permission and clearance for the archives. So essentially, the three main places to get archives for the Changi village itself is all under renovation, so essentially we could not retrieve any of the archives from them. So that was mostly part of the challenge, or rather the most challenging part.
My producer actually had me. He lost his laptop during shoot, and while he was like eating, and he left it there, and the next moment he know that the thing is gone. So at the end of the day, Uncle Charlie, thankfully, he knows a lot of people there. So he actually asked everyone. He even got us into the control room, the CCTV control room, for us to like look at the CCTV. And then at the end of the day, we found the laptop, and it wasn't like taken by some stranger, but it was like one of the vendors at Changi Village Hawker Centre actually took it to safekeep for my friend, for Hemi. So I just feel like this incident really showed us how bonded like Changi Village people are and how friendly and trustable they are.
Like the most unforgettable part was like the bird shit on him. It was hilarious.
So the bird shat on. We were under shade. We were in a shelter. We were in a coffee shop, and somehow or another the bird still managed to shit on my head, on my hair. But on production itself, a bad experience would be running across an angry, grumpy,
arrogant old man, so he actually broke the light stand.
I was supposed to be the one to steer him away, but he didn't listen to me. I was just like, hey, can you like go around? And then he just mumbled something, and then he just went past, and then he rammed the light stand, and we broke the light stand. I mean, he broke the light stand. And that was the first time an equipment got damaged on set for me.
Despite the changes Changi went through, some people still revisit Changi, never forgetting the part it played in molding their lives.
On our second shoot day or third shoot day, we just ran into the old couple from Scotland.
There was this couple that actually stopped by Mr. Lai's shop, and then they were asking Mr. Lai, hey, do you remember this old fabric shop? And then at that point in time, Mr. Lai was like, he didn't really understood what the couple was trying to say because they're Caucasians ma. So I tried to translate, for Mr. Lai. And then after speaking to the couple for a while, right, I realized that they actually used to live here. I asked them, is it okay if I interview you? And then they said that they were really open about it and they were really kind enough. They said, sure, that kind of thing. So I caught up with them. I got my team to come over and interview them, which I'm very thankful that they are always like spontaneous and on the ball. And the interview turned out really well. And I feel that the interview is really one of the things that brought out the uniqueness about Changi, because at the end of the day, Changi is not just a place that is special to Singaporeans, but it's actually special to many people.
There wasn't a point of time in the shoot that I didn't really smile, because I enjoyed the shoot. I mean, I don't know about the tech crew because they were running here and there under the sun. I was busy catching crabs. But essentially for me, right, I thought that the shoot was very calm and fun, and it wasn't like everyone was stressful. Yes, we had those points to rush things out, but overall, I don't really have much to complain.
I enjoy the food and working with the team because it was fun and the food was also nice. So yeah, it's delicious, man.
When we go to the beach and we shoot B-rolls, it's very fun, it's very relaxed, it's very laid back, except for when the director shouts B-rolls from afar. That gets stressful. It's chill, like we're at the beach a lot, we're eating a lot, and I think overall it was like an enjoyable experience.
I felt like I gained 300 kg from it, so yeah.
Like a vacation overall, that we go Changi Beach, just chilling over there.
I enjoy doing the B-rolls and doing the roaming interview with the people at Changi Village.
My editing process was from exciting to tired to on the verge of dying, because it took longer than expected, especially the B-rolls, because we have more than 400 B-rolls. But it's important also because in the end it all adds up together. You will never know what happens in the B-roll, so you can't really just skip them or whatsoever. So editing is not that bad yet, but reviewing footage and sorting them out was very tedious. I think why the CG was so important in our film is because sometimes people look at the archive, they might just look at it, but a CG makes it even more eye-opening, and also it makes an impression. You also let people feel how it feels live in that time. This is my first time doing CG. I'm not very familiar with After Effects and also Photoshop, but I think this documentary really made me learn a lot as an editor, to not just do simple cuts, but also to enhance my skills and doing effects.
After the wave of changes, Changi Village rose with streams of new faces of all races. Today, Changi Village is a well-known name for many things.
Yes, I felt very emotional watching the rough cut because I saw the persistence and the consistency and the insistence of my director, and I think that was very moving, because you see how determined she is and how much she wants to produce this documentary, and essentially that drive. She was the spearhead of our documentary. So essentially that drive and motivation pushed the rest of the crew to try and want to help her achieve what she wants to achieve. And I think that I have to give props to the tech crew for doing an amazing job and like executing her commands without hesitation. And seeing the end result is really quite a big payoff, because at the end of the day, right, though we are making the films for us, but I think a lot of us were also making the film for the director, because we saw how determined she was in wanting to make this documentary.
Actually, like I've mentioned, at first I wasn't very sure how it would come together as for the edit, because during pre-production I didn't really feel much for the story. I couldn't really relate to it. But when I was editing for the rough cut and I was watching it, and the more I edit, the more I feel for this documentary. I start to understand why this is so important.
It looks great. After watching, I felt more into the scene when the interviewee talking about the scene, their struggles, their past, because of the old photos, the sound that bring the audience into the film. It was a memorable video.
It's like, as a foreigner, I don't really know the history about Singapore, about Changi also. Changi to me used to be just about Changi Airport, and then Changi Hospital also. But now it's more about the culture over there, the vibes, and then the scenery over there. So the whole production is like a history lesson to me also, to know better and to know more about Singapore and Changi.
I think I find it very heartwarming that I can see the motivation and the energy, the spontaneousness that you guys put into the film. It's very moving, it's very touching to know that everybody wants to do their part enthusiastically and wants to achieve what the director wants at the same time. Honestly, I've never worked with a crew better. So yeah, I'm very thankful for this crew as a whole.
Thank you for being my teammates and like just great working with you guys.
Changi is like a very amazing and wonderful place, and maybe after another 20 years, the kampong spirit will be gone. The old the faces of Changi that we show in the documentary might pass on too. So I feel like to preserve this part of Changi, right, it's like it's just very like amazing to me lah. I think to look back after 20 years, right?
Why you crying? Don't cry. Why you crying? No.
I think to look back after 20 years, right, it will be a precious memory, because like Changi might not be what we see in 2019 anymore.
Yeah, so to my teammates, thank you for the 2 months. Yeah, it was really fun, and I wish that we can go to Changi Village and play with the crabs again.
Thank you all for being so chill on set, because honestly that helps me a lot. I'm glad that all of us managed to just, kind of let go a bit and show me sides of yourself that I might not have ever guessed if not for working with you guys.
Thank you all very much for being in my team, because I think without you all we can't produce this like amazing documentary.
I want to say that this story is very, very personal to me, and what I gain out of this is something that is once in a lifetime. You know what I mean? It's not just a good documentary that I gained out of this experience. Like it was a good like memories shared within my teammates. Like we really truly bonded, and I got to like interact with a lot of other people, and I even got to influence other people to come to Changi even more. So to me, I just want to thank my teammates for making all of this so easy for me and being so hardworking and as passionate as I am for this documentary. Especially the tech crew, thank you for always advising me on like what I can do, or what kind of direction I can go in order to make this documentary much more like visually like stunning and stuff like that. And other than that, thank you all for pressing on. Like, thank you all for not giving up.
And like to the audience, Changi Village is a great place with a lot of life, and you should experience that too. So come to Changi Village, go to the beaches, eat good food, talk to the people. You won't regret it. That's all.
Go to Changi Village after you watch the documentary and eat some good food.
I think Singapore, even though it is a small island, but there's so much for us to explore because the history is like very dynamic, and also the people around that makes a place so like interesting and like unforgettable.
No matter how old you are, if you're like in silver generation or baby boomers, like go back to Changi to reminisce on how it was like in the past, because I assure you it remains the same and the people there are as friendly as before. And to the younger generation, go to Changi. I know you love to go to Sentosa or Pasir Ris Park, but go to Changi. It's a place that is filled with a lot of things, and it's not just about the food or the beach and everything. There are new amenities as well. So please go to Changi and really interact with the people there as well. The people there are friendly and down to earth. And in general, actually, I feel that we should all, when we go to places, right, we should all really try to look around our surroundings and take a deep breath sometimes and appreciate what we already have. Because, like Poppy mentioned before, you might never know that, you know, in 20 years' time or 30 years' time, if this place or these people will still remain the same. But as long as at that point in time you appreciated it, right, it will always remain in your heart. And I feel that, you know, these are the things that are really important in life, like really appreciate the little things. Yeah.
I have come to realize that it isn't about its food or its structure. It's how it maintains its enchanting heritage through the passing of tales from one generation to the next. As my father bestows his experiences and adventures onto me, I conclude my journey in seeking out the truth behind the spirit of Changi.